These urban legends now have me second guessing everything. Basically, it's like finding out some of my childhood fears are actually true. So maybe this video should have been titled Scary Things That Could Possibly Happen to You. With that being said, let me know in the comments below what's one scary thing that has happened to you. Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Lindsay Ivan, and today I'm bringing you the top 10 famous urban legends that came to life, part 4. Yes, there are 4 parts to this, so if you haven't seen the other parts, then make sure you go ahead and check those out. Like, what are you doing? Go ahead, watch them. You got time. I know you all have time. Starting off this countdown, we have the Babysitter. Honestly, I'm glad that I never had to babysit when I was younger. The job alone is definitely pretty scary, just being alone in someone else's house at night watching over their kids. But I'm sure you've all heard of the famous urban legend about the babysitter who's just chilling in the living room while the kids are upstairs sleeping. That's when she receives a phone call asking if she has checked on the children. This happens repeatedly until she calls the police, who trace the call and found out that the killer is in the house and that the children were upstairs dead. Although this is not quite the same, something similar to this did indeed happen. In 2016, a 65-year-old nanny was out for a walk with a 20-month-old girl that she was looking after in a stroller. A man named Craig Mikowski came up to her and told her that she was pushing a dead baby. The woman was spooked and went home immediately. However, he followed her home and broke into the house. He kept demanding for her to hand over the dead baby. He then took the stroller and fled. Thankfully, the baby was no longer in the stroller. He was later arrested for child endangerment, burglary, and petty theft. Coming in our 9th spot, we have the discarded body. So for this next urban legend, there are multiple versions of it. But basically, it surrounds the idea of someone seeing a nice rolled up carpet on the street and brings it home to redecorate their house. Only when they unroll the carpet, they find that there was a body inside of it. Well, in 1984, this exact thing happened to 3 Columbia University students. They picked up a carpet off the streets of Manhattan only to find that a man's body had been rolled up in it. It also happened in 2013 in Georgia when a body was found in a rolled up gym mat. Making our way down the list to number 8, we have Catman. First, we have the Dogman urban legend, and now there's a Catman too. Like, what other animal mans are out there? So the Catman of Greenock was a legend that dates back to around the 1970s. Basically, the Catman is a small man-type creature with skin made black from coal, and then he also has glowing eyes. And he is said to lurk the streets. There are different origin stories for the Catman. Some say that he was a Russian sailor that got stranded in Scotland, and without money or family, he was forced to live on the streets. Eventually, his mental state declined, and he turned more into a beast-type creature. While no one knows his true backstory, the Catman is supposedly real. He is said to be harmless and has been seen numerous times near wooded areas. He is said to eat rats and mice and hangs out around with stray cats. He can't speak, but he responds with gestures. There's even a Facebook fan page dedicated to him. On this page, members post his sightings, pictures, and videos of the Catman. However, he hasn't been seen since 2017, so fans are concerned about him. Moving on at number 7, we have Premature Burials. There are tons of people out there that are terrified of being buried alive. Let me know in the comments below what your biggest fear is. Although it's unlikely to happen nowadays, there is an urban legend out there that will make you think otherwise. Unfortunately, being buried alive is possible, as it has happened a number of times. One case involves a woman named Alice Blunden. Back in 17th century England, Alice was presumed dead after drinking a large amount of poppy tea. Now, poppy tea is made from dried, unwashed seed pods that contain morphine and codeine. So basically, she was just heavily sedated for a long period of time. But Alice was presumed dead, and she was quickly buried. She woke up a couple of days later, and children heard noises coming from around her grave. They found that Alice was indeed alive. However, it took another day just to dig up her coffin. After Alice was finally unburied, she was alive, covered in bruises and blood from trying to escape. She then quickly passed out from the experience. And then, believe it or not, she was presumed dead and then buried again. Like, that's terrifying. The poor girl has terrible luck. Coming in our 6th spot, we have the power toilet. Okay, so I'm terrified of flying as it is. Like, turbulence is my worst nightmare. But what's also scary about airplanes is the urban legend surrounding the bathrooms. In 2002, it was said that a woman got sucked into an airplane's toilet after flushing. However, this was just a rumor and it never actually happened. But the legend continued to spread, saying that the high-pressure vacuum flush can suck someone in. Well, this real-life story might just be more terrifying than the urban legend. In 1986, a 70-year-old woman on a cruise ship got her intestines sucked out from the suction-powered flush of a toilet. Doctors claim that since the woman was bigger, she created a seal around the toilet, and then when she flushed, the toilet had enough power to completely take out her small intestines. Thankfully, she survived, but it's just scary knowing that that could happen. Like, I just want to do my business in peace, thank you very much. But also, shouldn't you stand up and then flush, you know, so you don't get a spray, like close the lid and I don't even want to think about it. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the pool drains. So when I was a kid, we would go to pools and I would always have a fear about being sucked into the pool drain. Well, I always thought that it was an irrational fear and, you know, just a legend, but sadly, it can happen and it can be deadly. It is said that a pool's drain is strong enough that with contact with human skin, it can create hundreds of pounds of pressure. In 2008, a girl named Abigail Taylor was severely injured after sitting on a pool drain. The suction ended up ripping out parts of her intestines. As a result, she needed a bowel, liver, and pancreas transplant. She sadly did not make it. It has also happened multiple other times to different children. Some have even drowned from being sucked and held at the bottom of the pool by the drains. Coming in at number 4, we have the escalators. I'm sure when you were younger, you've heard the legend that a loose shoelace can get trapped in an escalator and as a result, your shoe and foot can be dragged in. Well, there are tons of reports of this actually happening. Some accidents have been devastating. In 2001, a 7-year-old boy in California lost 3 toes after his lace got trapped in an escalator. In 2015, a 13-year-old boy lost his leg after it got caught in an escalator. When he hopped on the escalator, his lace got caught and it dragged him into the moving metal. As a result of his injuries, he needed to get his leg amputated. Now, I think I'm gonna think twice before I get on an escalator, or you know what, I'm just gonna take the stairs from now on. It's healthier anyway, so there. In our 3rd spot, we have the Frozen Woman. And I'm not talking about Elsa or Anna from Disney's Frozen here. Instead, I'm talking about the legend of the woman who completely froze to death and later was thawed out and came back to life. Believe it or not, this actually happened. In 1981, a 19-year-old woman named Jean Hillard was out driving when her car slid into a ditch. Hillard tried walking 2 miles for help. However, she fell unconscious and froze. She was found frozen stiff, her skin gray in color with her eyes wide open. It was said that her body was frozen for 6 hours in -22 degrees weather. Her body was so cold that needles would snap in half when trying to pierce through her skin. Eventually, she slowly thawed out and resumed consciousness and made a full recovery. Moving on to number 2, we have the Red Room. This is a famous Japanese urban legend. This legend started in the 1990s and is about a cursed pop-up that appears on a person's computer screen. It's an image of a door with a recorded voice that asks, "Do you like the Red Room?" This ad will continue to pop up even when you close it. Others say that the pop-up is a red background with black letters that say, "Do you like the Red Room?" Those who have seen the pop-up are later found dead, the walls of the room painted red with their own blood. Well, it's kind of true. In 2004, an 11-year-old murdered her classmate. It is said that this young girl was a fan of the Red Room and even had the link to the Red Room bookmarked on her computer. It is said that the Red Room somehow influenced her into committing the murder. And in our number 1 spot, we have the Accidental Cannibals. You heard me correctly. There have been times where people have accidentally eaten other people. So this legend dates back to World War II. During this time, many families were facing food shortages, so their relatives would send over care packages with tins of food. However, legend goes that one family received a care package with an unlabeled tin. It was filled with a powder inside, so they thought it was a spice or food supplement. They began ingesting this powder by sprinkling it on their meals. Turns out that the tin contained the cremated remains of a grandmother, and it was sent to the wrong address. So, there are 2 real-life stories that I want to mention here. One is the case of a woman featured on the show My Strange Addiction. This woman was addicted to eating her husband's ashes. In fact, she was eating it for 2 months and was said to have ingested 6 pounds of human ashes. The other story is a case of accidental cannibalism. A killer named Joe Metheny was found guilty of killing multiple individuals and then turning them into hamburgers, which were later sold to and eaten by his neighbors. Joe said that he would cut up the individuals and mix them with pork and beef and make patties with them. Then over the course of multiple weekends, he set up a barbecue stand and sold them to his neighbors. I lost my appetite. That's really disgusting and disturbing. Oof. And that's all for today's video. Let's move on to our comment shout out portion. I'll be shouting out comments from my video, Top 10 Scary Movies to Watch While Stuck at Home. Elizabeth Morales commented, all of them, and I recommend Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Yes, thank you for reminding me. That is on my list of movies to watch, and I really want to see it, so thank you. I will for sure be watching that soon. Scissor Me Timbers commented, I love her cute little smirky mouth when she's enjoying her subject matter. LOL, Lindsay definitely grew on me. My smirky little mouth, huh? I don't know why I had an accent there. But yeah, glad that I grew on you. Thank you. Adriana Lalumera commented, is there a shirt that has Lindsay's See You When I See Ya? I want it. I should make merch with that. See you when I see. Let me know if you would buy that, because I'm down to make merch that says See You When I See Ya. Oh my gosh. I was actually thinking of that, so wow. And that's all the comments I'm shouting out for today. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see you. And that's all the comments for today's video. Let's move on to our shout out. And that's all the comments. No, what am I doing? And that's all for today's video. And that's all.